Welcome in, everybody. It's Fireside Friday. It's the 23rd of September. Can you even believe it? I can't. We're heading into week 3. And you guys and gals, I have a very, very special guest, a lady who is near and dear to my heart. Rosalie Michaels is joining me today for Fireside Friday. Cheers, my dear. Clink.
Yes, let's do it.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. It's only noon here in Phoenix, but
so
it's Friday. Friday, you can start your Friday early. Those are the rules, right?
Those are the absolute best. I mean, we always, like, every company I worked for, I feel like always had an early Friday, whether it was a half an hour or we had, like, I worked at an ad agency for a while, and we had beer and Beyonce Fridays. So we would, like, literally, because we worked right above a bar, and, like, one of our clients was actually Anheuser-Busch, so we would get free beer. So we'd have beer Beyonce Fridays afternoon. It was so great. Like, that's what makes Fridays so much fun. But what makes it even more fun is that we are here with you, guys and gals. We're going to help answer your questions. But first, we're going to go over some Underdog Pick Ems that we did. And I tell you what, Rosalie's are juicy. I love them. In fact, I took 2 of them because I was like, oh my God, these are great. And then I'm going to do a prize picks. We're going to talk about some matchups we're looking forward to just because, it's football and we all love watching football, not just for fantasy purposes, but like for real football. Sometimes it's cool to participate. And then we will get to your questions, the ones that are coming in live. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining, as well as the ones that have been submitted to us because other people are like working and doing stuff, which is boo. But before we get down to that, let's get into some little nitty gritties here for me, everyone. I have 1 second. A signed Michael Thomas jersey. I usually have this prepared, but I didn't today. I have a signed Michael Thomas jersey right here. Right, There's a signature somewhere over here. It's always the opposite on StreamYard camera. Signed Michael Thomas jersey. It is very simple and easy to get into the contest to win this, everybody. All you have to do is one of these things, because if you've already done one, you're not disqualified. You can still do it. Sign up. Subscribe at my website. It is stepmomlauren.com. It's free. Every single time I post the content that I do during the week, it sends you an email with that video or article, whatever it is that I've done. So yeah, it's just easy. Stepmom Lauren. Go ahead, stepmomlauren.com. Sign up there. Also, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, Stepmom Lauren YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my audience here. As much as I love giving free things away, there is an ulterior motive. I won't lie. Okay. So that's just kind of how it goes. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have already done both of those things, first of all, thank you very much. Second of all, you can share this video, comment on this video. I get those analytics. I know who you are when you're doing this. Please don't say anything rude though, because that will not get you in the contest. Be nice, everybody. So do those things. Also, let me just put this up here real quick. If you sign up at Underdog Fantasy, which we will be talking about today, we're going to do our pick'ems if you haven't joined the show before. So one of the things we do is we talk about the pick'ems. They're very easy, high or lower. If you use my promo code SML, you get your first deposit of up to $100 matched. It is super fun, very easy to do, all sorts of fun stuff. And the other place you can use that promo code SML, like Stepmom Lauren, is over at FTN Fantasy. It's either, that website or FTN Daily or FTNBets.com. And you get, let me just put that one up here too, because I feel like I'm good at this show, but I'm really not. So if you use the promo code SML, you get 20% off any package over there at FTN, one of the companies that I work for. I work for 4 of them. If you have not met me before, my name is Lauren. You can find me at Stepmom Lauren right here. I am a writer and analyst and video analyst for the fantasy footballers, but that's just writing. The fantasy footballers don't like to share their screen very much. Don't tell them I said that. But fantasy footballers, fantasy pros, FTN, as well as NBC Sports Edge, their Roto World now, and the app. Matthew Berry can do no wrong. That's literally what he does, is crazy stuff. So now you know where you can find me, Stepmom Lauren, all over social media, stepmomlauren.com. Basically, when in doubt, Stepmom Lauren. Not that one. Not you. The other one. Not that Stepmom Lauren. She is the not safe for work Stepmom Lauren, and it is not me. So don't be messaging me those things, because I kicked her back to like page 3, hopefully. So hopefully she stays over there, but I'm not that Stepmom Lauren. Rosalie, tell everybody what you are working on and where they can find you now that I just went through that entire diatribe. Thank you very much for being patient.
No worries. What's funny is, like with me, my moniker is the fantasy girl. Usually I'm used to people like, going to the wrong fantasy girl too.
Mm-hmm.
But the Stepmom Lauren, there's
very specific, right?
Wow.
It's bad. So before I had my own website, before I really got some traction, this was some years ago, people were like Googling me and they're like, do you have any idea what shows up when we Google your name? I'm like, no. So I did. I'm like, oh, this is a situation that must be corrected. It was really bad. Anyway, continue,
Wow.
go on. Where can they find you? What are you doing? What are you working on?
Yeah, so working on a lot of different stuff. Obviously, with my content and stuff that I've been putting out each week, I am partnered with DFS Karma and Bet Karma, and so it's a great resource for lots of interesting tools that they have to help you in your sports betting life and in your daily fantasy sports life as well. So I put out a video for them each week, 2 videos, one for your DFS picks. I do an overvalued and undervalued each week. And then for the sports betting aspect, I just pick whichever. I don't go into the fun of the underdog, but I think I'm going to. I'll have to tell you right now, I'm going to use your code because I've not actually done the pick'ems before.
Oh, really?
Until I went to pick 'em today, and I was like, these are fun. I can win some money this way. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny you say that because first of all, just going back to her content, if you do not follow her on Instagram and on TikTok, y'all are missing out. She has the greatest videos. Not only is she wonderful and lovely to look at, she is incredibly full of knowledge. I had the privilege of being able to interview her 2 years ago on the Women of Fantasy Football, which is how we connected. And she just throws a ton of information out there. It is succinct. It is perfect. Succinct. I just made that word up.
Succinct.
Succinct.
It's
I still said it again. I quit.
Well.
I
definitely have a style.
I'll just exit this way. No, it is really great. I love your videos. So please follow her. You're doing yourself a huge favor. And I'm so glad that you got to know Underdog a little bit because, I mean, I used to work with Josh Norris, who's over at Underdog. I also know Andrew Mackins, who's over at Underdog.
Yeah.
So just being able to be a part of this is so fun. And I don't know if I introduced you to Rivals yet. That one is even cooler. It is so neat. I'll show everybody when I share my screen and pretend like I know what I'm doing, which I usually don't. So anyway, let's get right into it because you guys have questions. I know that you do. So the first thing we're going to do is go through my prize picks really quickly here. So I'm going to show you, I've already selected my prize picks. Here is a thing, everybody. For prizepicks.com, you can use the FTN promo code. It's the same kind of idea. Your first deposit of up to $100 is matched. I do not have my own promo code for that one, but FTN does. So that's one you can use for prize picks. But real quick, I want to go through this. I just won $100 on the Thursday night game with prize picks on a $10 bet, I think it was.
Nice.
It is easy to do. It's, again, same kind of principle. It's over under. So I'm going to share my screen here real quickly. And here is my, do you like how I did the little cursive up there? Like I'm so
it's so fancy.
Like, I just want to do scripty today. So here are my prize picks. This might be a little tough to see, but I did Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, Tua, but just to give you an idea of what it is that I did. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. I'm going to add this to our screen. This is actually Prize Picks. Okay, everybody, this is the Prize Picks website. I have already logged into this. Now up here, if you're not familiar with Prize Picks, these are all of the different sports that they have. It's pretty insane. So I'm over here on the NFL tab. Now, going back real quick to my selections, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and start with that first option, which was Josh Allen. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Rosalie turned me on to this one. And look at his line on Prize Picks compared to what it was on Underdog. It's a 275.
It's 275, and what was it, 280?
Yeah, 280, which is still really good. But yeah,
fantastic.
Right? So Josh Allen, his line on Prize Picks is 275 and a half. So I think that one's a little sneaky juicy. So I'm going to do this one. And right over here on this side of the screen, I'm going to go hit that more. The next one that I wanted to look at, and up here where my mouse is right here, everybody, down here are all the different options that you have. I'm going to go through some that are super fun with Prize Picks, but I'm just going to go ahead and search the names for sake of time since I've already made these selections. Yeah. But we are going to go to Aaron Jones next. And this one I thought was interesting because of what I know that he's capable of doing. It is Aaron Jones. I'm going to go this one right here. His rushing and receiving yards combined, I think 84.5 is a little cheap. I think that's low considering what Aaron Rodgers is going to have to do to try to beat Tom Brady, which I think he's done once out of the last 3 meetings that they've had.
The all-purpose yard.
Christian Watson. Yeah, right. Christian Watson's hurt. Alan Lazard is hurt. He no longer has Devontae Adams in case you live under a rock. So I'm going to go them more. on that one
What?
for me.
This is brand new information.
I know. Breaking news. Did you know? Well, now you do. The more you know. So my next one is going to be Tua. There were so many juicy lines here with Tua Tagovailoa. I've
Well, because he's
struggled.
like the hot property, right?
I know,
Everybody
and
is
I'm
so high on him right now.
Oh my God, Rosalie. Yes, me too. And there were so many options, also so many options on Underdog too. But I think you and I kind of had the same idea here. The rushing, I'm sorry, yes, rushing yards, receiving or passing yards, receiving yards. Wouldn't that be a trip? that would be something.
Right,
So
you know what? You never know.
You never know.
Daniel, right? He might throw some crazy stuff in there. You
are so right, because he is a tricky man. I agree with you there. So I went ahead and looked at the total touchdowns here, because it's likely going to be a through the air high flying game. So I think 1.5 is a really good line for him to go do the over on passing touchdowns. I really like this, but this is kind of cool too. I like the interception lines on some of these, but I feel like every single time I do an interception, I never get them right, and I always lose. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was going to do the interceptions for Sir Goff, because who knew he was going to be a thing this year? Go Lions. Did you watch Hard Knocks at all?
Yeah. No, I have not. I've got it banked. I've been so busy that I have not been able to watch Hard Knocks, and it's kind of ridiculous. But I guess that's a good thing, right?
My husband is a diehard Lions fan, and he fell in love with the Lions all over again. Jamal Williams is my favorite person in the NFL. Continue.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. He's been around. I mean, I've loved him since he was on Green Bay, right? He was AJ Dillon before AJ Dillon. So
oh my God.
But yeah, I love. I actually got. You're gonna laugh at this. In one of my leagues, I got somebody trying to trade me for Jared Goff. Now he didn't give me. He wanted to give me, I can't even remember. It was like a 3rd round pick next season.
Oh, please. No.
Yeah, it was a 3rd round pick and some rando that I can't even remember at this point. So I was like, no. I don't know what it is with sometimes these trades that come at you. You're like, do you think I'm an idiot?
I know. It's amazing. Actually, we have a couple of trade questions that are going to be in our lineup for the questions later. But yeah, there's a lot of them. And I don't know if anyone knows how the stock market works. Buy low, sell high. Exact same thing on trades, everybody. Never trade away a player at their lowest. You will get the worst return on investment ever. Mm-hmm. Real quick, this is one of the things I really like about Prize Picks is up here on the screen. I don't know if y'all can see it. I know it might be very tiny, but I'm going to go ahead and go for sacks. Okay, so
you have to say that very clearly, Lauren.
Sacks of phones. I know. Especially with the other stepmom, Lauren. I'm just digging myself into a hole right now. This is fabulous. You know what? It's Fireside Friday. It's my show. I don't really care. But I'm not going to go for the other. I'm going for sacks, as in like defenses that, sack the quarterback.
S-A-C-K-S.
S-A-C-K-S, not the other one, and not the other sack either. This is the defensive. So I'm specifically taking a look at the Eagles with what I think they may do to Carson Wentz. So their line is at 2. I think that they can get to Carson Wentz more than twice. So I'm going the over. This is very positive. Like all of my Prize Picks are super duper positive here.
What's the line on sacks against the Colts this week? What's the line on that?
That is a good one. Who are the Colts playing again?
The Colts are playing KC, which is pretty.
Like the line's at 2.
Oh, like that. That offensive line is just terrible. What did he get sacked like 8 times or something last week?
Didn't it used to be? You know what? I'm gonna put that in here, and then I might switch these up and then submit those after the show and do a little bit of trickery. But yeah, I mean their offensive line used to be amazing, and now it's just absolute junk. Ugh. Yeah. Garbage.
Right. I mean, which I don't think it shouldn't affect Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion. What's affecting Jonathan
if they use
him, is Reich not giving the ball to his best player. That just doesn't. But we may get Pittman back, so that's good news.
He is fully healthy. So as he is taken off the injury report, he is, the flex emoji from Sleeper. Thank you very much. Listed as healthy and not questionable. So hopefully that stays true. So let's go ahead and jump right into your selection here for your underdog picks, Rosalie, because these are really good. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Thank you.
Talk us through it.
Okay. So the Devontae Adams over 80.5 receiving yards. This is against Tennessee. Yes, please and thank you, because that's a great matchup for them. So against Tennessee, Tennessee's defense has just been absolute crap so far this season.
What a sad matchup between those two teams, too. Two of
Yeah.
them, they're both 0-2. Like, I'm sorry, one of their seasons is going to be over after this game.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Sad.
It's crazy. I don't think it's the Raiders. The Raiders have good pieces in place, right? So, but the Tennessee seems to have, with the exception of Derrick Henry, traded away all their good pieces. So they're having some problems. So, but with Las Vegas, I mean, and Devontae Adams, you look at it. I think this line seems low to me, simply because of that game last week versus the Cardinals. 12 receiving yards, but he did have 7 targets. The problem that Devontae Adams has this season, as opposed to
Derek
Carr,
Carr?
Rodgers, exactly, is Derek Carr's not quite as efficient, so we call it. So you look at, he had
It's a really nice way to say it.
First week, 10 receptions, 7 targets. Second week, 2 receptions. But then the Cardinals were good at shutting them down. The Chargers are a great defense, and he was still able to put up 141 yards. So for me, this is just kind of a no-brainer.
Yep.
When you look at the fact that, what they were able to do. They had the Giants with Tennessee. They had the Giants the first week. So, but even Sterling Shepard got 71 receiving yards. And then last week, of course, we know what Stephon Diggs did to them. So, and Diggs, can do it. I can definitely see, 148 yards just out of Diggs. So yeah, to me, this is just a no-brainer. They're going to fire the ball to Adams' way a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. Now this next one is interesting. Good old Monday night curse for Kirk Cousins.
I know. A lot of people are hating on Kirk Cousins, but again, against
it was the shirt. It had to have been the shirt from the press conference the night before.
Let's blame the shirt. Why not?
I will totally do it. Fashion, everybody. Fashion is meaningful.
Yeah, it is. You know what? These things last. It makes an impression. So, but yeah, with Minnesota going against Detroit this week, we know that Detroit gives up a lot of points, and their secondary is just not very good. Justin Jefferson, what they did the first week against a very good defense, and Justin Jefferson just looked completely unguardable, right? And so I think we get back to that Justin Jefferson this week against Detroit. And so who's going to throw the ball to him? Kirk Cousins. 20.45 fantasy points. I think that's easy for him this week when you look at what Detroit has given up in terms of fantasy points the first 2 weeks too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like it. I do like that.
Yeah. And then Patrick Mahomes, over 2.5 touchdowns. Are we ever worried about Patrick?
No.
He had 2 last week, but against the Cardinals, obviously he had just a monster game. And then he's going against Indy that just gave up huge to Jacksonville. We know that Indy has a problem with Jacksonville. Yes, but still, that was Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is just not a good quarterback. He's just not. I'm going to say it. Sorry out there.
Spicy.
Sorry. But Patrick Mahomes is just going to carve up this. And the thing is that I don't know which receiver other than, Kelsey, because Patrick has said, it's going to be a different guy each week. He's going to pick and choose who's open, who's available. He's not a stupid quarterback. He's going to look and find the right matchups. And so you don't know who those touchdowns are going to, but I know who's throwing them. So, yeah. Wow, I just realized how many freaking quarterbacks I have on here.
I think I did too, actually.
This week.
That is okay. It's all about the over-unders, or the higher or lowers in this case.
Exactly. So Josh Allen, obviously we talked a little bit about him. He is my pick for the MVP this season. I think this is his MVP season. He's showing it so far. Just fantastic play against whoever comes through, right? That game against the Rams, insane. The Rams are a really good team. They're a really good offense. They're a really good defense. But you've got going against Buffalo is the number 1 offense, the number 1 defense, and kicked their little booties all the way back to La La Land.
They're yes. Good night. Peace.
Yeah, good night. So 280 passing yards against Miami. I mean, we saw what Lamar Jackson just did, who's not a passing quarterback, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was that? Like over 400 yards he just passed for?
I think it was. And he had, God, didn't he? He had over 100 rushing yards.
Rushing
too,
yards. Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah. So this to me is a no-brainer. Again, he's got I think Gabe Davis is back too. So that's helpful to them. But I mean, Josh Allen, it really doesn't matter who he's thrown to. Diggs is great. I mean,
yeah. And here's another interesting tidbit. So far within the last 2 weeks, when the Buffalo Bills have been up, they don't just start running the football to just, waste time. They keep throwing. This is opposite of what we think normally happens in the NFL, right? When a team is really high, up really, really far, then they just hand it off to the running backs, No, they literally were just like, I don't care. Let's make it a deficit of 50. Let's keep throwing touchdowns. So I don't think that there is a cap on what Josh Allen can do against any defense. He's already proven it. God forbid, knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt.
Well, and if they do run it, he's running it sometimes too, right?
Exactly. So it's again right behind
touchdowns.
Devin Singletary. Yeah. Exactly. Now this one I like because Chase Edmonds is my boo. I love him.
I know. And I went under on Chase. I mean, Chase is, he's from Arizona. We love him here. It's so it's hard to. And I'm not rooting against him.
You're being realistic.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's the question, number one, there's the question of, Mostert is now in the mix, which you don't like to see. There's also the question of going up against that Buffalo Bills number one defense. They're just not giving up the rushing yards. So, and he wasn't very efficient when he had the touches. Week 1, he had 14 touches, and it was like,
exactly
32 yards. It was like 2.02 rushing yards. I mean, last week he was a little bit more efficient with his touches, but he still only had 5 rushes. So that's, I just don't see it happening. And like you said, this is going to be a shootout. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot more than they're going to be rushing the ball. So
yeah, I completely agree. And the thing with Chase Edmonds is that he is one of those super dynamic pass catching running backs. So until they can really settle into their identity with Miami under Mike McDaniel, when he can get creative and kind of use him as a diet Deebo Samuel is what I kind of like to call him, or Deebo Samuel light, then we're going to start seeing some other those like really explosive plays. But you didn't draft him to be your RB2. He's likely going to be a flex. So he's going to be matchup dependent. This is definitely not his matchup at all. So I am actually avoiding him in redraft fantasy as well. So I love Chase Edmonds, but that is a solid take on the under. I love it. Okay, let me go through mine here really quickly. I'll throw mine here up on the screen. Not throw up, put my picks up here. And don't worry.
Well, do what you got to do.
Hey, it is my show. I can do whatever I want to do. But again, we're on the exact same page here. 2.5 passing touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. I absolutely love it. And then for Josh Allen, again, I am the same thing. I am going over on those passing yards. I'm going over for Tua Tagovailoa on 1.5 passing touchdowns. Because again, we're talking about the shootout between Miami. And I think 2 passing touchdowns is reasonable for Tua with all of the pass catching options. They don't really have a pure line from scrimmage back. They have Raheem Mostert, but he's also a pass catching running back. Right. So I have a feeling that this is going to be passing into the end zone.
Well,
to whomever.
It's the highest over under for the weekend.
I'm so excited. That's my matchup of the week. I'm so excited to see that game. It's going to be awesome. So then I went a little bit interesting here, and I went with Treylon Burks because his line is at 3.5 receptions. So for me, I was like, if he catches 4 passes, I think he's good. And I really think that Tennessee, like we were talking about, this is a desperation game. Tannehill has got to pull his head out of his, I'm sure, very nice looking behind, but he has got to figure things out, and he has got to start targeting these guys more, because when Treylon Burks is targeted, he does well. So I think if he gets 5 targets, he's catching at least 4 of them. So hopefully this is going to be a high scoring game as well. Hopefully.
Yeah. And it's 4.5. Is that what the line is?
I think it's 3.5.
3.5. Yeah. So, I mean, he hasn't had less than 5 targets so far in our very short limited season. And so, he's the most targeted on that team, so that's helpful.
Yep.
And with the Raiders, again, you're expecting that they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more. I mean, it's bad for my Derrick Henry share
Oh, I
that I
know,
have,
right?
but
Pain.
But yeah, I mean, 3.5 receptions isn't much at all. I mean, you get those targets in, and I think
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that this will be the game where they get their stuff together, because they absolutely have to. And I think it's doable against the Raiders defense. I really do think that they can be exploited. My last one here is my boy. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, if I get any more start sit questions about Amon-Ra St. Brown, I might break my laptop.
Yeah, just do it. Just always
start
do
him.
it. Yeah, always do it. There are certain no-brainers in the world. That's one of them.
Yes.
He's getting too many targets, too many opportunities. That I mean, this Detroit offense is, dare I say it, good.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean,
I love
they've
it.
got the running game down. They've got the passing game down. It's good. I'd like to see a little bit more go to the hawk,
I know, right? Come on.
Let me see some hair. Let me see the boy with the hair.
I love it. I love it. So and I couldn't believe this line against the Vikings defense, right? It's 71 and a half. Yeah.
71 and a half. When I looked,
I'm going over.
Go ahead. What was that?
I said, I'm going over 71 and a half. No way. Absolutely.
There's no reason not to. When I looked at it, when you're looking at the breakdown by game of, with Green Bay, how many, did they give away there? And so I'm a little worried just because, but it's going to be a high scoring game. So
and that's
Amon-Ra is he's going to be great. So
and that's the thing too. So the thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown is not only can he get it done on the short and intermediate routes, but his yards after contact are great. Plus, he's also getting targets deep too. So he really is that main wide receiver threat, if you will. We're dealing with that whole DJ Chark experiment, which isn't going so well so far. So it's basically DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And because I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a good game against the Lions, this may turn into a shootout. I mean, look what happened last week with the Lions. It's freaking crazy. So I'm banking on Amon-Ra St. Brown being that clutch performer like he has been in the past. If that line were 5 or 7 yards more than 71 and a half, I wouldn't even touch this. I'd be like, nope, I'm going to go someplace else. And just really quickly, before we move on to get to your questions, because I know everybody wants those questions answered, here is an example of Underdog Fantasy right here. So when we're looking at all these players, right, here's Patrick Mahomes, and then 2.5 passing touchdowns, 22.45 fantasy points, 29.5 passing yards. You can choose higher or lower. All of them are grouped in right together. You can just scroll right on down. You can search names. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. It is super duper fun to play Underdog. I love it. Remember, use the promo code SML, like right over here. You can see it. I put it on my wall. SML, Stepmom Lauren, you get your first deposit of up to $100 matched. Now, without further ado, everybody, let's go ahead and jump right into your questions. I'm going to see if we can get some of our live questions in here first. Albert would like to know if you have your own YouTube channel.
I do have my own YouTube channel. I'm not super active on there. Most of what I do is on Twitter, but you can follow me on Twitter at Rosalie Michaels, just like you see spelled on your screen there. And it's the same username for TikTok, for Instagram, all of it. So follow me there. And then I do have my own Fantasy Girl YouTube channel as well. And so I put my more longer form videos up on there.
I love that. So I was trying to get our little bubbles back, but they have disappeared on me. Oh, there we go. That's why. So yeah, right there, the Fantasy Girl. Awesome. All right, let's get into some other ones here. Okay, John Bennett. Sup, ladies? Yo. How you doing, John? Okay, so he's really in on the Commanders and the Jets wide receiver core. Is he right or is he wrong? Jets and Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders. Obviously Curtis Samuel is just a target monster. You have to. I mean, he's in your lineup each week, unless the matchup is really bad, unless he's going against the Bills and you've got some better options out there, maybe, but yeah, against Philly this week, fire up Curtis Samuel and feel really, really good about it. I've had some questions about Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. He's not so scary this year because he's just not getting the targets that
Scary in the
we're
wrong
used to
way.
him. Yeah.
He's the wrong kind of scary.
Scary in the wrong direction.
Mhm.
So Carson Wentz, you have to see who the quarterback is clicking with, who he's vibing with. And that's, it's definitely Curtis Samuel. And you're starting to see him do it a little bit with McKissick as well. If you
Mhm.
like your pass catching backs, McKissick is there. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Brian Robinson comes in, because I think they're planning on getting him more involved in the passing
I
game as well.
cannot wait to
I
see
know.
him in action. I
I
mean, like
know.
4 weeks after 2 gunshot wounds, like,
And,
come
and he's
on,
back
are
at
you a
practice.
robot?
He's back at practice. So I'm like, what?
Oh,
Like,
to be in your 20s again. Like,
if I had just been shot, here'd be me right now.
oh my God. I usually am that way anyway.
I was shot. Yeah.
He's a monster and an absolute beast. And here's what's kind of funny. So this matchup this week against Philly, just real quick, I am all about Curtis Samuel because he's just a PPR monster. I'm okay with Dotson. I'm okay with Scary Terry. I am not okay with Carson Wentz. I honestly think that the Eagles, with their improved defense, are going to be crushing Carson Wentz's life. So I'm wary of Wentz, but I'm not wary of Curtis Samuel. Sometimes that happens in the world of fantasy football. Albert, he was a wonderful follow. He always tunes into all of my live stuff. It doesn't matter what network I'm at. He's always there. Thank you so much, Albert. He wants to know, pick 2, please. Jalen Waddle, Cortland Sutton, or Gabe Davis, full PPR. First of all, your embarrassment of riches is really annoying, Albert.
Yeah, that's just rubbing it in, isn't it?
Yeah. Like who, like how? Like what?
Well, I can see how. I mean, you can see getting these guys like middle rounds, right?
Yeah, very
Waddle,
true.
Sutton, Sutton was a big target for me.
Oh, me too.
Drafts. I didn't get him in anything. I did get Judy in one, so I was happy about that up until the injury, especially the week 1, that 67-yard touchdown. You're like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. No, 100%.
Yeah. So Sutton's a tough start this week against San Francisco, but
Agreed.
I think you still go Waddle and Sutton just because of if Gabe Davis plays, if he's coming in, I'm just worried about him coming off the injury. So, but Waddle is a tough matchup as well.
Exactly. So Gabe Davis says that he is 100% ready to go. The injury report does not say that. So that's nervous. I think if he is a full go, I don't mind playing Gabe Davis, especially with this shootout that it's going to be. I know Miami's defense is very good. However, that means they're going to be taking away Stephon Diggs. That means they're going to be shutting down the run game. So which is, minimal at best, but there's a lot of them there. So I am all good with Waddle and Davis. If you are uncomfortable playing Davis, totally get it. You can go Waddle and Sutton. But either way, we both agree Waddle is the way to go. And Emmanuel is late to the party, but that's okay, buddy. We still love you. Emmanuel Lucero, pick 2 again. Garrett Wilson, heart him. Curtis Samuel, Dameon Pierce, Michael Thomas in a standard. So we have Garrett Wilson, Curtis Samuel, Dameon Pierce, or Michael Thomas.
Curtis Samuel is a no-brainer for me. I mean,
his touchdown is
yeah. I mean, it is standard, but that's who Wentz looks for. Garrett Wilson is interesting to me. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on him.
Name Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Well, it's just
Joe Flacco being benched.
He just seems too good to be true, doesn't he?
I know. It's crazy.
It is too good to be true.
His target share, did he have like 15 targets or something ridiculous in the comeback victory from the Jets over the Browns? It was insane. Well, I love Garrett Wilson. I'm going to use him as much as I can until the other shoe drops, likely named Zach Wilson. Just so you know. So I would get as much out of him as you possibly can. Standard is always tough here. I think it's going to depend on what your roster needs. When it's a standard, I go for upside. If you want to combine a little safety, you can, but I would go Garrett Wilson and I would go Curtis Samuel. However, Dameon Pierce has an excellent matchup. Really, really, really good matchup. So my other options here, Michael Thomas is fully healthy, so he is ready to go. Oh my God, this is so hard. I'm going to go.
Michael Thomas against Carolina, against that defense. And you know that Jameis does look for him. I mean, to me, the Michael Thomas upset, you could see this being a 2-touchdown game for Michael Thomas. Absolutely.
Broken back or not.
Dameon Pierce, it's just that offense is just not good.
Dude, what is Lovie Smith doing?
Well, he says that he's going to run the ball a lot. And he definitely, I mean, Dameon Pierce really got, a lot more action last week than he did in week 1.
Yes.
But that still worries me, like that flip-flopping when you have kind of like the Miami situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, okay, this is Chase Edmonds' team. Wait, no, it's Mostert's team. It's and so when the same thing happened there in Houston too, right? And with the matchup, it's not great against Chicago. It's probably going to be a very low-scoring game. You know, you're hoping that maybe he can get in the end zone. I'm not going to count on it. I feel like Michael Thomas getting in the end zone is a little bit, for me, it's a safer bet.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so just on because I said that Pierce had a good matchup, he has a decent matchup. Let me revise on that because I think the Bears are ranked either 13th or 15th best against the run. So there is that there, but
Yeah.
who else is where else is Davis Mills going to go besides Brandon Cooks? That's kind of where I'm leaning here. So I don't mind Dameon Pierce. I'm not worried about him long term though. So don't freak out about
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce. Let this offense get their feet underneath them with Lovie Smith. So don't worry about that. So I think final thoughts here. I think for me, I would go Curtis Samuel, Michael Thomas. If you want super high upside but higher risk, you could go Garrett Wilson, Curtis Samuel. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you do go. Curtis Samuel is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
I might go Michael Thomas over Garrett Wilson.
I don't hate it.
Just
don't hate
because,
it at all.
like I said, I could definitely see him having 2 touchdowns. I could definitely see that. So,
Yep, I do too. I'm happy to hear you say that because I have Michael
yeah.
Thomas everywhere.
I know. It's people have forgotten how good Michael Thomas is.
So good. So by the way, Michael Thomas jersey signed. Subscribe to my website, stepmomlauren.com. Subscribe here on YouTube, please, pretty please. Comment, share, like this video. Come say hi. That's how we roll. Emmanuel, you have another question. You see Jacoby Myers on your waivers. Should you drop Robert Woods or Tyler Higbee to pick up Jacoby Myers? This is going to depend on who your other tight end is. I don't hate this because Jacoby Myers is a PPR monster. However, understand that his upside is limited because they are not using him in the red zone.
Well, and he is he's injured right now.
Yep. Trending in the right direction, but who the hell knows what that means?
Now, yeah, it's always, it's until you get to Sunday morning, you just can't trust anything on that. Bobby Trees, I wouldn't mind dropping Bobby Trees for him. I love him. I love him.
Everybody does. He's so amazing.
He's such a good talent. And it's hard to say drop him because it's one of those things where it's the first couple of weeks you don't want to overreact. You want to see them find some groove, but it just doesn't feel like that Tennessee offense is grooving at all. They are grooveless.
Yes.
So yeah, but Jacoby Myers, like you said, he's getting a lot of opportunities. So I wouldn't drop Higbee. Especially this week. I love Higbee this week.
Yeah, he's gonna have a good matchup. The
Cardinals.
The Cardinals are I think they're the worst defense against tight ends.
They are. They gave up the most fantasy points in week 1 to Kelsey, and then the second most last week to Darren Waller. So yeah. I mean, granted it was Kelsey and Waller. Jinx.
I love it.
Higbee is getting the targets. They definitely have found some synergy there, and so he's getting the targets. So I really like him this week.
Yeah, Higbee's no slouch. He's
multiple
he's
touchdown upside.
Yes, he's a talented tight end. All right, Carlos, thank you so much for joining. You have a lot of names. I'm just going to stick with Carlos because I don't want to embarrass myself even more fully than I have already so far in the show. Start Damian Harris or Cam Akers in half PPR. This is a great question.
I'm going to go Akers against the Cardinals again. We saw what CEH was able to do against them week 1, again, both on the ground and in the air. With Damian Harris, I just don't think he's going to get a lot of passing opportunity. And again, that's going to be a lower scoring game. I think you're going to see the Rams and the Cardinals be a higher scoring game.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. I don't hate Damian Harris, especially with his touchdown upside, but he is therefore touchdown dependent, which we don't really like to see, especially when you have a pivot option like Akers. Definitely go for Akers. All right, Raul, thank you so much for joining, Raul. It has been a minute. Where you been, my friend? Any news on Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I was just looking. This says 5 hours ago, all signs point to Justin Herbert being good to go for week 3. So that was 5 hours ago. Still limited. That was 20 hours ago. So, I mean, it's the rib injury. So, it's tough. Do they just put him in a bubble?
Yeah, right.
Just, do one of those air casts like around his middle.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Why don't they all do that? Like,
I think they do air casts everywhere. Then there's no injuries.
I need one just for like Fridays and Saturday nights. I mean, you should see what I look like the next morning. My friend, her name is Nikki. I love her. So like we'll, wake up with a random bruise somewhere. We call them random party bruises. Mm-hmm. So like when you wake up, you're like, oh, got an RPB. They're like, what? I'm like, it's a random party bruise. Like, I don't know where I got that, but I'm sure I had a great time doing it. So Raul says that the last he heard on Sirius was that Herbert and Allen are not likely to play. I lean more towards Allen being not likely to play. I don't trust a damn word that man says when it comes to his injury status. But with Justin Herbert, I would be shocked if he didn't. He may not play exceptionally well, so you may still want to pivot, but I would be shocked if Justin Herbert didn't play. This is rib cartilage damage. He said during the game when it happened, sometimes it was excruciating and other times he couldn't even feel it. He is throwing at practice. He did get in a limited participation in practice, so it's not like he's sitting out getting his ribs iced. He's still participating. So I would be shocked if he didn't play. Just understand that if you don't have any other options, he is going to be limited and he's not going to have that huge, crazy Herbert upside like that we know and love. There's going to be a lot of run game.
But you got to love the matchup against Jacksonville too. Yes. Jacksonville's defense is unless they're playing Indianapolis, Jacksonville defense is really terrible. So their power rankings are 25th in the league. So that's the kind of upside you want to see. And then against the quarterback, you're looking at, again, 25th and then the secondary 22nd. And they gave up the third most fantasy points to the QB position in week 1. So
I don't know if you can see this sign back here. This is my Mizzou sign right there. So back in my day, when you had to walk uphill both ways in the snow to get to class, Chase Daniel was my amazing college quarterback, my collegiate amazing dude. So was Jeremy Macklin. We had a lot of really big names on that team. He is the backup over there in LA. Mark Drumheller said that he is taking reps with the first team over there in LA to help Justin Herbert, just in case Justin Herbert cannot go. Hello. All right, let's go ahead.
I think he's tougher than we give him credit for.
He's also stubborn as hell.
Reps. Yeah. So he may be taking first team reps. I still think Herbert plays. And if Herbert plays, you're starting him. Now, if Herbert doesn't play, then all of your pass catchers there in LA with the Chargers take a step back.
Except for Austin Eckler, I think he'll be okay either way, no matter what.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Mike Williams downgrade, Gerald Everett kind of downgrade. Although Chase Daniel does love, and I believe it's not Daniels, it's Daniel. There you go, Mark. I got you, Chase Daniel. All right, let's go ahead and go real quickly so I don't keep you like for the rest of the afternoon, Rosalie.
Oh yeah, I've got a 1 o'clock, by the way. So
okay, here we go. Okay, all right. Who to start? Julio Jones or Gabe Davis? Julio Jones probably isn't playing. I'm going to go Gabe Davis.
Yep, correct. Me
Perfect.
Too.
Penny or Mostert? Mostert, hands down. I'm fading Penny everywhere.
Yep,
perfect. And then which Tyler? Tyler Boyd or Tyler Lockett?
I have to go Lockett. I like the matchup for Seattle this week.
Perfect. That I know it's not awesome with Geno, but calm down, everybody. Things
no,
will get better.
I actually have Geno as my undervalued DFS pick, and I know, people, but
it's not glittery and sexy. But if he gets it done, he gets it done.
He's 5K on DraftKings. You know who else is 5K? Backups and Davis Mills, but. Again, we're looking at the matchup here. That's what we're going for against Atlanta. They've given up a crap ton of fantasy points to the QB position. And so I like it.
I love it. Okay. From Mace Reiner, should ye start as his RB2, Nyheim Hines, Melvin Gordon, Kenny Gainwell, or Chase Edmonds?
I'm assuming that it's PPR. I assume that everybody is either PPR or half PPR. I'm going Nyheim here, just because I think that they are going to throw the ball, and so I'm just going for the targets here. The pass defense, with KC can be had through the air, and so I think that he'll get some targets. I'll be honest with you, I don't love any of these choices.
No, true. They all have terrible matchups.
I don't love any of them, and I'm just going for the target opportunity for Nyheim.
This could literally be a 2-touchdown game for Nyheim Hines. That has been known to happen with Frank Reich and that offense for sure. Okay, we have 3 more. Trip in a half PPR. He has Evans. Obviously, that's going to be a bad situation. So he needs a wide receiver too. He can play Curtis Samuel or Scary Terry. Why do you have both of them on your team? I would trade one. And then on his flex, Dameon Pierce. Or should he play both Curtis? No, you don't play both Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin in this game.
No, I do Curtis Samuel, and I know I was down on Dameon
but still,
Pierce, but yeah.
This is a different situation. Yeah, so we're going to go Curtis Samuel and Dameon Pierce. You are welcome, Trip. Thank you very much for submitting your question. Ross wants to know, which is funny. I can't believe we're having this conversation. Aaron Rodgers or Jimmy GQ? He has Debo, by the way.
That's crazy. I understand you have Debo. I understand you have Debo. I can't believe this is even a question of whether or not you're going to start Aaron Rodgers. And yes, Aaron Rodgers' matchup is tough, but I still think I'm going Aaron Rodgers. I think that, as much as we see this being, tough defense against tough defense, it's going to be hard, but I think it's going to be more of a shootout than we expect. I think it's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be the game that we expect out of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
They're both garbage matchups. So which quarterback do you want to rely on in a garbage matchup? Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo, who was designated as a backup, or Aaron Rodgers, 2-time MVP? I think I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers on that too. But I understand why the question needed to be asked because that's kind of where we're at right now in week 3. I get it. Yeah. All right. So Stud Kev INTX on Instagram wants to know James Conner, Josh Jacobs, or James Robinson full PPR. I know this one's tough. Conner may not play, everybody.
Yeah, Conner, I was just checking. I'm pretty sure he's not playing. I'm an Arizona girl. And so I think that they're still saying Cliff Kingsbury still said that he's a game time decision.
That's never good.
And it is a later game. It's in Arizona. So that's something that you're going to have to think about. And they're going against the Rams. So all of those situations, not ideal for me. I think this is going to be more of a throwing game. And when Connor's in there, you always have touchdown upside, right? But I just don't feel confident in him this week.
Me neither.
And so, James Robinson with Jacksonville, again, tough matchup against the Chargers. And what was the last choice that he threw in there?
We have Josh Jacobs. That's actually my start.
That's my pick too. Yeah, against Tennessee. Yeah, give me Jacobs.
Yep, we're gonna go Jacobs on that one. And then last one before I let you go. Finally, Coffee in him. I don't know how to say your name, but whatever. Coffee.
He's got some caffeine flowing.
I know. Hey, I took a caffeine pill before we hopped on. Can you tell?
You can call me wine inner.
I know. I have vodka and caffeine. Surely this is not a good combination, but I don't care. Pick 2 in PPI. We are so healthy on the show. This is what I do.
This is fruit.
It is, it's fermented fruit. Nothing to worry about. Pick 2 PPR. Okay. AJ Dillon, Gabe Davis, Michael Pittman, Drake London, or Jerry Jeudy in a PPR. I'll repeat those. Okay. Dillon, Gabe Davis, Michael Pittman, Drake London, Jerry Jeudy. I am going to lean right now on Gabe Davis and Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Pittman train. Mm-hmm. Drake London, little interesting to me against Seattle. Mm-hmm. Seattle's not a good defense at all.
Neither's Atlanta, so this could be a shootout.
So it's going to be a high-scoring game. Mm-hmm. Because the defenses are crap. The offenses are not great either, but they are putting up, some points, at least on the Atlanta side is. I'm going Drake London and Michael Pittman.
I don't hate that at all. Yeah. I really don't hate that at all either. Yeah. I like Gabe Davis because I really like what this game is going to do. But if you need upside, you have upside with Michael Pittman, then you have astronomical upside with Drake London. So literally all 3 of can you find a way to get all 3 of those wide receivers in? So you can flex one of those guys because that's massive points potential. All right, finally, I'm going to let you go instead of just wasting your entire Friday, afternoon for you. It is afternoon for you. Thank you so much, Rosalie, for joining me. Thank you for spending some extra time with me. I know I said it was only going to be 30 minutes, and here we are 50 minutes into it.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
It really is. No,
it's crazy how fast it went. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you're working on one last time before we go.
Okay, so you can find me at Rosalie Michaels everywhere. That's so you see the spelling right there. I know it's my first name is a little confusing, but at Rosalie
It's
Michaels
adorable.
everywhere.
Love it. Absolutely love it. You guys, she puts out amazing content. Follow her on social media. Watch her videos. Not only it's just good. So much good content. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point, and they give you actionable advice that you can actually use and make some money. Everybody, thank you so much. Don't forget, subscribe to my website. Please subscribe to YouTube. Comment on this video. You can comment, like, share, whatever. And then that gets you to enter a signed Michael Thomas jersey. Everyone, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and also good luck in week 3, everybody, and you'll be seeing me all over the place again next week. Mwah. Love y'all. I feel like it's like end broadcast and then end broadcast. So hi everybody, we're still here because I'm an idiot when it comes